Well, good afternoon. I'm Sam Vassa. I'm with Figlo. We make financial planning tools that clients and their advisors truly love. Let me actually just take a quick poll of the audience, if you don't mind. How many of you have created your own financial plan or maybe are actively managing one that your advisor has told you to work with? Yeah, not many, to be quite honest. You know, really, when we look at this, there's a primary reason. Today, a lot of financial planners and their clients use software that really just generates reports and analysis that rarely gets used. A lot of this information is just generally wasted. And our goal at Figlo is really to make sure that we build tools that clients and their advisors can use to improve the collaboration, as well as promoting the communication between the two. But most importantly, we want to make it as simple as possible for clients and advisors to go ahead and build out goals that they're truly going to follow. So let's actually take a look at how we do this. I've gone ahead and logged in as John Jones into the Figlo Financial Planning application. And here, when we first log into the application, we can see a great overview of what John and his family have in terms of their household holdings. We actually have gone ahead and used the terminology of have. We then can move into a financial planning process by enumerating, let's say, what John desires or what his goals are through our want tab. We can then rationalize that and figure out what he can really afford through the need interface, and then actually take some action through the do. So let's go ahead and take a look at how we enumerate some of these assets in this interface. Here we can see John in a card-based metaphor and the rest of the members of this household. In our usability testing with clients, we found that people really just grasp the idea of cards, and it quickly represents some information. In fact, what we're also doing is allowing people to go ahead and take a look at completion meters, giving them a little bit of an incentive to fill out a little bit more data so that our calculations are more accurate. We can pull up a lot more information about John, bring in any standard information, where does John live, etc. We can also extend this a little bit further and do things like kick off a risk profile analysis of John and figure out what investments John likes to work with. Adding a different person in the account is pretty simple. Just click through the interface and you can go through and add people. We can actually go ahead and enumerate other assets here as well, like where do they work? Here we can see that John works at Citibank, and you can see here that I've gone ahead and enumerated his income in euro. We're actually showcasing for the first time the full ability for the platform to be completely multi-currency. We can enumerate any asset in any currency around the world and do real-time conversion back to the base currency and showcase it here in the graph. You can see it's in US dollars. The system also has the ability to go ahead and change languages on the fly. I can go ahead and switch to Hindi, and the system will then do a quick conversion and convert everything into the localized language for people who want to use it that way. We can also go ahead, let me change it back to English for a second if you don't mind. I can also go ahead and change the localization of the platform itself. I can go ahead and say, hey, actually I want to use this in Thailand and convert everything to Thai baht. But more importantly, I can include the local taxes and social security of that country in this application as well. So it is truly the first financial planning tool that is not only multi-currency, but also multilingual and now multi-jurisdictional. There are other things that we can do in the interface, like pensions, 401k programs, other income. We can also go ahead and enumerate expenses. Now, most other financial planning tools typically work with clients by having them enter a bulk or an estimate of what their monthly expenses are. What we do is actually bring in live information from our personal finance management tool called View on Cash. So we have the ability to bring in live data that allows us to be a truly useful experience for the client. We also have the ability to bring in third-party information through Finovate alumni like Yodlee as well as Meninga. So let's actually go ahead and take a look at planning something for John and his family. Here we can move into the want interface, and again we're using the card-based metaphor to showcase all the different things that John and his family can plan for, the goals. Let's go ahead and choose retirement. I'm going to go ahead and pop this onto the timeline and showcase that we can go ahead and pop all kinds of different goals onto the timeline according to when John and his family want to retire. The system will then do a quick calculation, and you can see that we use a really easy-to-interpret user interface. Red means you can't afford it. Green means you can. We can go ahead and enumerate all kinds of other different goals, but for today, let me just step you through and see how we can actually pay for this comfortable retirement. Now, I've gone ahead and selected this comfortable retirement here, and at the bottom of the screen, we've gone ahead and shown financial products that are appropriate for John and his family. Now, we've done a real-time filter on these products. We can do a filter based on what the captive agent currently sells, for example, or we can actually do a filter on risk profile and only show the investment products that are appropriate for John and his family. I'm going to go ahead and choose an investment here, pop it onto the timeline. The system will then ask me for some specific information. I'll go ahead, and I'll pop that in, and I'll click Next. I can also see that the system does automatic calculations. I can even go ahead and do some simulations. I'm going to go ahead and change this from a standard investment to an investment in different equities. And I'll do a quick calculation and run about 10,000 Monte Carlo simulations, and I can now see with about a 77% probability that this investment will go ahead and meet the needs. So I've gone ahead, and the system will do a quick recalculation and find that, yes, I can afford retirement up to a certain point. Now, doing this in the web-based interface is pretty intuitive, but today we're announcing the ability to go ahead and do this on tablet form factors like the iPad. If we can switch over to the iPad. You can see here that I've logged in as John again, and I'm able to pull up different alerts according to his profile. We can go ahead and pull up things that are appropriate for his investments. We can actually drill into the income and expenses and take a look at the budget. We can take a look at the income tax that they may be paying in certain years. We can forecast that for them. We can go through the same sort of interface and see what they have and what they don't have. So truly what we've done here is created an interface that allows users to really grasp and make this a lot more intimate, their financial plans, and they can work very closely with their advisors to build out those plans. I invite you to learn a little bit more about Figlo. If you haven't created your financial future today, please come see us in the booth at the back. We'd be happy to get you started. Thanks for your time.